So DevEx's ultimate goal is to deliver a discovery drill hole to our shareholders. And today I'll talk you through why we believe that DevEx is so uniquely positioned and placed to succeed in delivering this. So we have multiple high quality projects spread across several of Australia's exploration and discovery hotspots with strategic and significant endowment within the country. Our projects are most sought after and each with their own highly prospective targets, including, as Paul mentioned, in the west at the Sovereign project in Western Australia, where we're exploring for high-grade nickel, copper and platinum group elements following the significant discovery by Chalice Mines last year in the Julimar region. We've kicked off exploration drilling and this is the first time on the Sovereign project that we've seen drilling for basement rocks, and we're looking forward to seeing that over the coming months. Also in the east, we've been exploring in several projects within the Lachlan Fold Belt, the greater Lachlan Fold Belt, including at the Wilgar Downs project in the Cobar region, and also for gold and porphyry copper gold deposits in the centre of the Lachlan Fold Belt in the general Macquarie Arc region, host to Australia's largest porphyry copper gold mines. Also, our project, the Nabarlek project in the Northern Territory, is important to us, and we've started to take a renewed interest in the project following the recent uptick in the uranium price and as countries also scramble to secure strategic investments involved in surrounding energy. So this is a project that DevEx has had for some time, and we really quite like it, hence the endowment of the region. The team is well led by a team of experienced geologists, including myself and also Chris Torrey. Together, we have over sort of 50 to 60 years of experience exploring in Australia for these types of deposits. Of course, it's led by, as Paul mentioned, it's led by our chairman and major shareholder, Tim Gorder, who has had fantastic success over the last 18 months with the discovery and his involvement with both Chalice Mines and Liontown Resources and other companies as well. So Tim has been a great supporter of DevEx over the years and continues to be both enthusiastic and driven towards encouraging us to get out there and get that drill hole into the right spot. So DevEx Resources is a quick company snapshot. We have 283 million shares on issue and just shy of $12 million in cash in the bank. And this is setting up DevEx for the future, for our exploration projects and what we plan to be doing in the coming 12 months. And so we believe that we've got a significant upside potential if we can get our drill holes in the right spot for a significant growth. So just taking you into our projects, both starting in the Western Australia and then moving across to east and then ending up in the Territory. Hopefully I'll be able to explain a common theme here at the end. But what I would like to highlight is in Western Australia, following the discovery of some very large, significant nickel copper PG mineralisation by Chalice Mines, we're currently exploring the Sovereign project, which is located between two existing nickel copper PG deposits. First off, as I mentioned, the discovery at Gonaville by Chalice Mines, located to the south of the project along essentially a magnetic trend, and also the Yarrawinda Brook to the north of us, which is currently being explored by Caspian Resources. Both are known occurrences of nickel copper PG mineralisation. Where we're exploring at Sovereign project, this area has seen no exploration for this style of deposit until recently. We entered into an earn-in agreement with Australian Silica Quartz Group, who has permitted us to go forth and have an earn-in agreement whereby we're earning up to 50% at the moment in the project on the western side, and we have our own 100% project on the eastern side, which was just recently, the tenement was recently granted. So what we have is naturally on a known trend of known nickel copper PG mineralisation. We're exploring this area for the first time. Just zooming right into the actual project, the images you see here is magnetics on the left. Magnetics is important as it gives you an idea of the trends and the magnetic anomalies that we're seeing there. And on the right is gravity. What's important, as I mentioned, with the lack of exploration is previous explorers by ASQ or Australian Silica Quartz Group went and explored for bauxite in this region. Bauxite drilling that they did was very shallow. We're talking about 3 to 10 metres of depth of drilling. They were targeting the bauxite and then they stopped the drilling. They didn't drill through the clays and they definitely didn't drill into the basement. So we re-assayed that bauxite, looking for signs and indications of what the basement rocks could be and also potential mineralisation in the area. And of that and our rock chip results, we started to see elevated and quite anomalous platinum palladium. We're seeing anomalous copper and nickel and supporting chromium, giving us and sort of shoring up our view that we believe that we're exploring over the top of essentially a nickel copper, a mafic ultramafic intrusion. And what we now need to do is start testing these and test the basement, which has never been tested before. So that's why we started off with this air core drilling program. We're looking to drill about 7,000 metres of holes over the coming month. 7,000 metres worth of drilling over the coming month and test the basement rocks around these anomalies. We also have geophysical anomalies, both magnetic and in the gravity, but also with the previous airborne EM that we flew. We've got to continue with the ground EM crew and get the crew back out there in the coming weeks to continue following up on several airborne EM targets. So very active in the field right now. Moving across into the eastern states in the central in the Lachlan Fold Belt, we're exploring 3 projects, different styles of deposits, but really the same sort of thing. We're looking for copper-gold mineralisation and also gold mineralisation at Wilga Downs in the Cobar project and also the Junee and Basin Creek located nearby to each other. At Wilgar Downs, or in the Cobar region, we have entered into an earn-in agreement with Thomson Resources whereby we're earning up to 80% in the project at Wilgar Downs. And likewise, we have our own tenement applications which we have lodged in and on the northern extension of the Cobar, the main mining district, the Cobar mineral field. That application is located on that northern extension of that Rookery Fault, known host to a number of Australia's, especially Cobar Basin type deposits, which has currently been mined, for example, by Glencore at the CSA mine and also by Aurelia at the Great Cobar, the Peak, and a number of deposits. And this area is very active in exploration and well highlighted by the recent joint venture farm-in agreement between Sandfire earning in onto CBH Resources ground at the Endeavour deposit as well. So we're adjacent to that and we sit on 2 structural lineaments at that intersection and we've applied for that ground and we expect to get that ground granted shortly. So just taking you to Wilgar Downs, where we just finished a drill hole in December, that we're targeting magnetic anomaly that lies at a very prospective contact at the contact between the Girolambone Group and the Cobar Basin. That magnetic anomaly had been previously recognised in the 70s and several shallow RC holes or diamond holes were drilled which encountered some prospective copper mineralisation. Our modelling of those magnetic anomalies show that they sit deeper down and that's what we were targeting. And if you took this project down into the main mining area, the geology is the same, the contacts the same, the magnetic anomalies is what's attractive to it, and they're lookalike targets for what you would expect for in the main mining district in Cobar. So we targeted this and we drilled 1 diamond hole in December of last year, and we've been encouraged by those results. So just showing you that diamond hole that we drilled. We drilled that in December. It's that 20WD001 on the right is a cross section. What you're seeing is a trace of that drill hole and then the magnetics, which is the yellow circling into darker reds colours. It's just showing you the model that we come up for what that magnetic anomaly is modelled to be at depth. So we drilled that and then right in the centre of that modelled anomaly, we intersected a narrow zone of pyrrhotite mineralisation, which is essentially a magnetic sulfide together with copper sulfides and gold mineralisation. It's a narrow intercept and it's not spectacular. It's 0.7 grams per tonne gold and 0.7% copper. But the important thing is it's the right sort of mineralisation. It's the Cobar type that we're looking for. And the really important message to take home is when we drill this hole, the level of magnetic readings that we got through this entire hole, or what we call magnetic susceptibility, there was very little magnetism in the actual drill hole, and certainly not enough to actually explain what that magnetic anomaly is. So from our geophysicists, they certainly think that this drill hole actually hasn't tested that magnetic anomaly, even though in the centre we've got the right magnetic sulfides. And so we sort of view this as a near miss. Somewhere that's that really large magnetic source, that broad and more intense magnetic source is nearby. And as a result, because we're seeing that it's pyrrhotite with copper and gold, we believe that the next step for us is to do downhole EM to look for an off-hole conductor, looking for bigger and better than what that drill hole represents. So it's in for a good chance, and that's what we're about to start up in the next week or two, which is some downhole EM and looking for that. In the meantime, the eastern magnetic anomaly has had no testing, and likewise, we think it stands a good chance for the style. So step by step, but we're working our ways towards a much more targeted drill hole next round, should the EM define that conductor. Meanwhile, in the central part of the Lachlan Fold Belt, in the Junee and also the Basin Creek region, where we've been exploring over the last 12 to 48 months, we're exploring for porphyry copper gold style deposits in an area that's one of Australia's largest porphyry copper gold mine hosts. And that's really focusing on the Macquarie Arc, which is the green rocks in the image you see there. This hosts several of Australia's largest porphyry copper mines, including the Cadia Ridgeway and also the North Parkes mine, both being mined by Newcrest and by China Moly. These are what essentially are porphyry monzonites. They occur at exactly the same age in geological time. They've got the same chemistry, and they really sort of sparked off an interest in the region. Where we are at Junee, we've pegged that ground 100% to DevEx. We like the area mainly because in 2017, the Geological Survey started to age date a monzonite down in that region, which is the same age as Cadia, same age as North Parkes, and the same chemistry. And that's really sparked off a pegging war and a significant increase in exploration in the region. So just taking you into Junee and then on to Basin Creek. This is the magnetics image for Junee project. The Cobar monzonite, which is the monzonite that the survey age dated to be the same age as Cadia and North Parkes, is just to the north off our tenement. We quite like this magnetic anomaly at Nangus Road, and we drilled a diamond hole into that. The magnetic anomaly sits under some cover, and we drilled a diamond hole into that, and we intersected a monzonite. The monzonite's altered. We see small amounts of chalcopyrite and bornite, but small amounts, not enough to warrant any sort of intercept, but telling us we're on the right path and the right rocks. Where we've gone with it at the moment is we've looked at the area to the north of Nangus Road, where we've just carried out some recent surface geochemistry, and that geochemistry is likewise showing a elevated and coincidental copper and gold soil anomaly. So on the left-hand side, you're seeing the Nangus Road magnetic target, and you're seeing the copper anomaly on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you're seeing the gold anomaly. And essentially they're related, and they've got pathfinder minerals elements associated with it, such as molybdenum and other sort of pathfinders, which are telltale signs of potential for porphyry coppers. So we've got a drill hole with the right rock, similar alteration. We've got soil geochemistry on the northern margin, and we're extending this soil program to the south. But we're mindful that as we move south away from little bits of subcrop, we're going to go undercover, and the effectiveness of the soil is probably going to be compromised quickly. So that will lead us towards air core drilling over the next quarter, and the idea is get some grid-spaced air core over there and map the geology, map the alteration, and get into some mineralisation for targeting with deeper diamond drilling. At Basin Creek last year, we built up this project. We've defined an in excess of 3.5 kilometre long golden soil anomaly with associated alterations, significant potassic alteration, all the right signs for what looks to be possibly an epithermal style mineralisation. We drilled this on broad spacings late last year. We drilled 14 holes. The spacings of the holes are anywhere from 200 metres to 400 metres apart. We drilled really targeting, looking for the primary source to the soil anomaly, and we intersected several gold intercepts. They're not spectacular, but take into account the spacing of this drilling. This drilling is anywhere from 200 to 400 metres apart, so we've got a lot of space between the holes, and our next step is to come in with infill drilling and target this, and then extend the soil anomalies and extend the targeting to the north and south, which we just haven't gotten onto since we really got onto this project quickly after it got granted. The other project, which we would briefly talk about, is our Narberth project in the Northern Territory. It's located in the Alligator Rivers uranium province. This is a very well-endowed uranium province with traditional mining of uranium. Over 500 million pounds of uranium, U3O8 endowment in the ground. There's a number of very large mines and deposits, including the Ranger mine, which is currently moving towards rehabilitation, but also several very large deposits, including Jabiluka, and also the uranium gold PG deposit down at Coronation Hill. Unfortunately, those deposits are located inside National Park and sensitive, but where our projects are, we're well outside the National Park. We're located on granted tenements with established agreements with the traditional owners, which see any discovery progress smoothly towards operation. What we're exploring around is the historical Nabarlek mine. So we both have the mining lease at Nabarlek and also the exploration licenses. And Nabarlek is by far one of Australia's highest grade uranium deposits. It was mined in the 80s and they mined 24 million pounds at a grade of 1.8% U3O8. So we're dusting this project off and we're focusing on the immediate area surrounding Nabarlek and looking at new concepts in this area. And with the uranium price going the way it is, and also with the the strategic scramble for energy stocks out there by countries to secure it, we see this region as being really a hotbed of exploration properties that right now has really been left undone. So quick timeline, just to explain what I was just mentioning. We're focused at Sovereign. We're drilling at Sovereign right now. We've got a month of air core drilling through there, targeting the basement rocks and the geochemical anomalies and the geophysical anomalies. We expect to see results after about a month's worth of drilling from that. We're extending and we're continuing with ground geophysics, including the ground EM. And likewise, this will all lead towards, hopefully with good results, towards RC diamond drilling in the sort of second part of the quarter. At Willgar Downs, in the next week or two, we're planning to do downhole EM, and then that will lead us towards drilling likewise once we get if we get positive EM response. At Junee, as I mentioned, we've got air core drilling planned for the next quarter, and likewise at Basin Creek. So just summing up, since I've run out of time, the common theme we're delivering here is the DevEx projects are unconstrained by historical exploration, and any discovery success will have a profound impact. We're exploring in newly recognised extensions of some of Australia's most promising mineral belts, and likewise in Julimar region, this is a new discovery, a new belt, and we're first explorers on this ground. So it's very hard to sort of say that if we get a significant intercept, how do you constrain that? We've really got a lot of work to do if we can get it to that point, which is our main aim. So we're an invested team. We're well invested, including our major shareholder, Tim Goyder, and we're very active, and we've got multiple programs planned for the coming quarter and for the coming 6 months. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brendan. We have two questions. One's relatively simple but pretty cuts to the chase. What are the similarities between what you've got and the Chalice discovery?
I think it's a belt. So when you're looking at it, everyone's exploring as a regional belt. The lack of exploration means that the drilling's got to take place to determine the similarities. We've not, and nobody else has tested the basement rocks. We are seeing elevated palladium and we are seeing elevated copper, and that bodes well for the region. So you just have to look at the magnetics for that. It's very early stages. It's at that stage just before the Chalice drill hole was the leading discovery. So we've got work to do, and that's what we're doing.
And just to recap on that timetable you outlined, when can we expect to see some results from the Sovereign project?
Well, we have about a month's worth of drilling, and likewise with the assaying. So I would say following that month's worth of drilling, several weeks following that.
Right. Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, Paul.